fingerprint on the on the lens. Hello. Even though it's spring now and we're almost through the hardest part of the year, riding bikes in the UK, Slop and Grime, is really hard on the bikes. And to that end, I'm going to have a look at the headset, because although it's fairly loose now, this has been sticking a couple of times. It gets wet, it gets muddy, gets crap in the bearings, it washes the grease away, and they need maintenance. So I need to sort that out. What's that? 5? Yeah, and then these are probably 4, aren't they? Right, so this should lift off. Goes there. These. Hold on to these. Gentle tap with a rubber mallet. And there you go. Right, let's have a look. Can't really see the bearings there. Sealed bearings there as well. Which is okay, that's good. Can these come out? Oh yeah, they are very graunchy. Graunchy is a technical term. Is there anything else in there? No. Okay, so these are the bottom. Let's just leave those on there for the moment so I remember. And this is the top. Fairly easy, just that there. And these, they're better, but I can still feel the bearings when they're spinning. So now, oh look, there's still some marks on there. I may well just clean them, lube them, and put them back in whilst I order some more. Right, I've given it a clean, but let me just take a photo of the reference number so I can order some more. Where's it gone? There we go. So what does this say then? Tange Seiki 1 1/8 inch, 41.8, so that's presumably 41.8 is the diameter. Times 8, which must be 8 mils depth, times 45 degrees, which is the chamfer on those bearings. I do have some spares over there somewhere, so I'll see if I can find a replacement for that. Let me clean this one. That is obviously the culprit there. Carbon fibre. Right, can I read anything on there? No. What's interesting here is that the bearing just sits directly on the top of the fork. It doesn't have a crown race in it, which is strange. I suppose you don't really want to be smacking down a metal crown race on there, do you? Can't see any reference numbers on there, but let me see what I've got in the spares box. I've got this new one. This is the new one, unused, and it's same depth, same chamfer, 45 degrees, and it's nice and smooth. So that will fit in the top. No, because this flares from 1 1/8 to I think it's 1 1/4 at the bottom there. I haven't got anything to replace this bottom one, so I'm just going to grease it up and put it back in whilst I get another one on order. Right, so I've got plenty of lube on there, plenty of lube on there. Back up through here. The weight is a bit unevenly distributed. I'll stick that on there. That goes down in there. What do we have next? That one. Those two. A stem. And then there was one there, proper top cap, wasn't there? Let's just hold that together first of all, stop it falling apart. There we go. Right, I think I'm going to put this on the ground to do the final part. Alright, so the front wheel is on, but this is just still loose, so I'm relying on sort of a bit of gravity. Alright, so just screwed that down a bit. So all torqued up, is that all there? It was a little bit tight there. That's better. Right. Get that straight. And then torque these up. 5 to 6 Newton meters. Let me get my torque wrench out. Just check that's okay. Yeah, that's much smoother. We have torque wrench, 4mm Allen key. Right, 5 to 6 Newton meters. Let me dial that in. That's it. And 6 on this one. There you go. And then I think you're supposed to unwind it when you've finished using it, so you don't keep the pressure on the torque wrench. Is that right, guys? Right, so that's done and it feels a lot smoother. Obviously this needs to be replaced, but I need to get a 1 1/4 inch bearing on order for that. Right, I'll just ask Google AI which headset do I need for my Specialized Diverge E5. Typically 2018 to 24 models, yes. Integrated headset, yes. Future shock system, no. Fortunately I don't have that. Right, upper bearing 30.5 times 41.8 times 8, 45, yes, that was correct, I did have that one. And the lower bearing, so 36.8, that's the internal diameter, and 45.8 is the external diameter. So specialized part number, so sorry, bearing ACB 458 or specialized part number S182 blah 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 is compatible, so that looks like the one that I need to order. Hello, right, back to the Specialized and the headset. If you remember, I had replaced the top bearing, but I didn't have a lower bearing because that's 1 1/8 up here. It's got a flared steerer, and that's 1 1/4 there. So I've ordered this, which interestingly enough has come from Estonia, and it arrived a couple of days ago, but I've only just got around to fitting it. There we go. That looks like 1 1/4 there, doesn't it? And it's the correct bearing. Has it got any markings on it? No. Right, so I did ride this on Saturday and it got fairly muddy. I've just given it a quick clean, but let's see how maybe this is held up to just one ride. So I'll just remove this arrangement again. It's just a bit damp there where I've just washed it. Lift this up. On there. Yeah. Right, so yeah. If you remember, strangely this just rested directly on the crown. There is no race. You can see it's a little bit grimy already there from just one ride, albeit this is the old bearing. There's the new one. Yeah, it looks the same. Alright, let me just give that a bit of a wipe. Right, there's the new one. Yep, sits on there nicely. Alright, let's put some grease on there. Alright. Back in there. That came out there. Push that in there. Push that down. Right, 5 to 6 Newton meters dialed in on there. That's straight, yes. Right. I think that was it. That's it. Excellent. Right, so that's complete. I forgot to tell you that the bearing was just £10 from Amazon. It does say compatible with Future Shock. I don't have the Future Shock on there. It's rubbish. See one of my other videos. Okay, so that's it from me. I'm actually off on an exciting ride tomorrow, somewhere that I haven't ridden before, so I'm looking forward to that. Right, okay. Cheers, bye.